Oh, and there's the bell. All right, please stand for the pledge. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. And Stevie, you want to take the?
The Village of New Paltz humbly acknowledges that we are on the traditional lands of the Munsee, Esopus, and Lenape people. The Indian Removal Act of 1830 forced the people to relocate to inhospitable territory far from the bountiful valley and mountains we inhabit today. The village further acknowledges that much of the physical structure of our village and town was built by enslaved Africans who labored as the property of their owners until 1827 on this very land. We acknowledge and honor the contributions, resilience, and accomplishments of the BIPOC community, Black, Indigenous, and people of color, who have overcome historic injustice to inform our past and inspire our future. The Village of New Paltz encourages everyone to learn more about the contributions and sacrifices made by the Indigenous people and enslaved Africans by visiting these sites. If you have resources that you believe should be included here, please contact us. Thank you.
Awesome, thank you. So I'm going to approve, so I move to approve our consent agenda exactly as is.
Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I move to amend the business agenda to include a few last minute additions, because sometimes you can't avoid them. So to include an item number 5, which is a temporary contractual building inspector. And I have lots of information I will share about all these ones being added. So number 5, number 6, which is basically giving more access to municity. Item number 7, to purchase a new fire command vehicle. Item number 8, about snow shoveling. Item 9, establishing a fee for the shoveling of sidewalks. Number 10, retaining Peak Engineering. And item number 11, regarding our CDBG grants. So I move to approve the business agenda as amended.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. Aye.
Aye, awesome. And then we'll have announcements before we get to public comment. Did anyone else on the board have announcements to share? Because I have a bunch.
No.
Cool. I love announcements. So just a reminder that we need volunteers for pretty much all of our volunteer boards, commissions, councils. So if you're interested, and you're not sure how to begin, you can come talk to me, or you can go to the villageofnewpaltz.gov website and check out the boards and commissions tab. Or you can reach out to our clerk's office anytime. I also wanted to share on behalf of our fire chief that firefighters are always needed as well. And after he shared with me, a really cool college student who's been volunteering, I'm like, that kind of feels like where I would want to be if I could free up some more time. So definitely look up more information on the New Paltz Fire Department website for information, or you can come my way and I can connect you with our chief. Please know that there are free community meals every single Tuesday from 3 p.m. until 6 p.m. right here at Village Hall in the old fire truck garage bay. Thank you to Scott and Leanne and others who have been helping them with this effort. For additional food resources, ulstracorp.org has a great map, including how to take the bus to different food resource locations. Please remember there are resources available. The New Paltz Pride Coalition website has some specifically for our LGBTQIA+ community, newpaltzpridecoalition.org/resources-services. I want to share that we have had a few water main breaks in the past week alone, 3 big ones. So big thanks to our Department of Public Works for being just really awesome and, working on that around the clock. And thanks to the public for your patience. Today, our Public Works people were on the search for some impending water main explosion. So just wanted to remind property owners out there that you should get yourselves on that Eye on Water app and keep track of, your water usage, because that can help, in, keeping an eye on where some of these leaks are. Our team literally were out with stethoscopes, listening. So, thanks again to this village staff for being so awesome. Snow removal, the groundhog saw a shadow, right? So winter's not over yet. So reminder, please keep your cars out of the roads whenever snow starts accumulating. When you cry on the phone with me, I'll just cry with you. I can't, make any changes if you get towed. So just don't get towed. If you're a property owner, clear your walkways, your sidewalks. We have some items on our agenda tonight that demonstrate the ways in which the village is doing our part, but it takes a village to make a village, so you know what to do. So that's it for announcements for now. So let's open up to public comment. For folks who walked in, like, while I was getting things set up, we have a sign-in sheet over there. It's just to help our clerk kind of get people's names right and stuff. But Rebecca, if you want to bring that my way, but whoever wants to come on up and make a public comment, just a reminder, you want to keep it, down to 3 minutes and share your name if you want to, and your relationship to the village, and your comment. Thank you, Rebecca. Okay, Alan left. We are going to be chatting tomorrow. So Duncan, so you want to come up so folks who are tuning in from home can hear you, and also so I can hear you when I watch this later again, because we love reliving it. Thank you.
Exciting stuff. Yes, of course. Hello, everybody. My name is Duncan. I am a volunteer with the Landlord Tenant Relation Council and also an alternate on the planning board. I have been told by multiple sources that Alex is for the mayor, and I think that I wrote something that I would like to say on her behalf. I've been a tenant in the village of New Paltz for 3 years now. 2 years ago, I had asked a friend of mine how I could get involved in local politics, and he immediately put me in contact with Alexandria. She gave me a list of projects she was working on and said, "What can you do to help?" I'm a little queasy when it comes to being in the public eye, but Alexandria's vision, drive, and verve have inspired me to join the Landlord Tenant Relation Council and apply to be an alternate on the planning board and to get up here to speak on her behalf. While reading Alex's application note, I was shocked to see how much she's done, and more than a little odd to be in direct contact with someone who's done so much in the political realm. The sheer amount of plates that she spends would put her in the Guinness Book of World Records if they only were to be porcelain instead of metaphor. The political climate in the country today is, to put it lightly, fraught. We are, all of us, asked daily and directly what we're doing to help in the face of overwhelming toxic, xenophobic hypermasculinity, and lots of other things that we are seeing come out recently. For those of us without the gumption to stand in the cold with signs and shouts every week, Alex's mastery of outreach will help turn our collective anxious uncertainty into direct action to stand against the mounting pressure on the horizon. When Frodo said, "I wish it need not happen in my time," Gandalf replied, "So do I, and so do all who live to see such times. But that is not for them to decide. All we have to decide is what to do with the time that is given to us." Alexandria will do and has done and is doing great things for our little slice of New Paltz. And I think that she would make a great mayor. I would feel safe knowing that she is at the top. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Duncan. Thanks for all you do volunteering.
Thank you.
And then Benjamin Healy. Just so you guys know, I am trying to keep time to keep it short tonight, so keep it under 3 minutes. Thank you.
Hey, guys, I know at least most of the people in this room. And hey, I'm Ben Healy. I have lived in or around the village for most of my life. And I don't have a prepared speech, but I also came here to support Alex. There isn't anyone who would be a better advocate for those of us who actually make up the community here. I've interacted with Alex in multiple capacities, officially and unofficially. And she's just always been so zealous and full of energy in terms of wanting to do things for the community that I couldn't hope to have a better public servant. And I hope you all will consider appointing her to the remainder of the term. And obviously she's fully capable of doing it because here she is doing it right here and right now. So that's all I have to say. Thank you very much.
Thanks.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for your service. We have Patty Merrill next. How's it going?
All right. Hey, I'm Patty. Sorry about the sunglasses. I have an eye infection, so I'm sparing you having to look at that.
That's cool, sorry.
Thanks. I work for Family Woodstock, out of the Family Dupalt's office, sometimes Ellenville as well, all over Ulster County. I had three quick things I just wanted to talk about. One, at some point, it'd be cool to talk to y'all individually about some solutions we might have for the free fridge here, that I know we closed down for some issues. I would love to see if maybe we get some volunteers to do something about that. That's dropping off over there and interacting with some of the folks was a really cool part of my job last summer. So that's one thing. Two, in these times right now, I don't know, and forgive me if you guys already have, if there's any kind of statement that we might be able to advocate for the town putting out for the kids in schools that may be threatened by everything going on with ICE right now. I think that can mean a lot to the kids, you know, that their local government has their backs. And finally, I met Alex very recently. I also wanted to advocate for her as far as being appointed. I spoke to a bunch of people about their interactions with Alex, and the long and short of it is she seems super inspiring, down to earth, and like she understands the issues that I face as somebody who I don't just work for Family Woodstock, I also live on North Chestnut. So I live in the community and I'm around, but that's everything. Thank you.
Thanks. Here's my cell. Can you follow up with me about the food bridge? Thank you. And then next we have Rebecca Ratzler. And then once we get through the people who signed in, we'll go to anybody like last call and then online if there are any. Come on up.
Yes. Sorry.
Take your time.
I had a bad fall, that's all. So, obviously, everyone is here to support Alex. What year did we hire you?
2016.
Okay, well, I was her, I was on the personnel committee. I've served as deputy mayor twice and acting mayor as she has and is. And I was always personnel committee, which I also had to let people go on occasion, but very nicely. But when I interviewed Alex, I was just like, who is this person? She was wearing her heart-shaped glasses, but I knew that I was sitting in front of brilliance, without a doubt, political brilliance and all the other things that go along with it. And it gives me such thrills to think that you could be our first female mayor before we've ever had a female president, which makes me very proud and very happy. So I'm fully in support of your role and in your passing that next little hoop. Because you know, you were such a godsend to, and I don't use the word God very often, to our community. You know, you understand all of us. So many people have your respect, and it's like, we're 25 years into this century. We should have more female representation. We need a female mayor, and we have a right in front of us.
Thanks, Rebecca.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
All right, so if anyone who didn't sign in wants to speak in our public comment, you can come on up. Please come to the table and, in whatever order you want. I gave up teaching for government work, so I'm not gonna call on anyone.
Hi there. My name is Maggie Bevet, and I've lived in this community after moving from Modena 50 years ago. And how long I'm here doesn't matter as much as how long I've known Alex and know of the work that she's done. I will say that I raised my kids here. I see the village and the town as one community. I really love the fact that Alex could continue in the service that she's done for our community. Because when I met Alex, I was part of a racial equity coalition, we were called. The schools were having difficulty, continually having difficulty with racial issues. And we formed a coalition. There must have been 125 parents going to board meetings because of what had happened. It was really after Trump was elected the first time. And we went there and there were many of us who were not sure how to continue this effort because we could see it dwindling away. So then we ended up asking someone who referred us to Alex, because she would be able to help us do some of the organizing and get some of the specifics of what we were missing in our organizing. So Alex came to our meeting. She came prepared. She gave us significant recommendations, and we continued. We didn't continue to this day, but I'm saying that she was there for us when we needed her. Subsequent to that, I served on the Democratic Committee here in the town, and Alex was on that committee with me and a bunch of other people. And Alex always proved to be the person who would give you her opinion, whether it was something that you wanted to hear or not. And mostly it was that she gave an opinion that reflected her true belief in participation, the importance of participation in our democratic processes. She's always been an inclusive person. And I think that at this point in time, she would be the perfect person to continue because she knows this village. She knows the inside and outs of what's been happening in the village. And she also has had a great relationship with the current supervisor. I think that combination really gives us an edge. And I'm not saying that she should be the mayor forever. I'm saying that we have somebody who could pick up the reins and keep it running. Keep it running until December of next year. So that if she chooses to run for election, that's her choice. But at this time, I think there really isn't much of a choice. We do not want to have somebody coming into the situation that we're in that doesn't have a good working relationship with the town board supervisor. And I really think that she'll do that. She'll do that to the best of her ability. And I can see that she is consistently there. She knows this village. You can give her an address and she'll tell you who probably lives there. So I would tell you that please keep in mind, we need some level of continuity here. And if you want to get somebody else in the future, let them run for election like everybody else does. At this point, we feel that, and I say we, we and other people, I feel that she is somebody who really can carry out, continue the progress that the village needs to make. So I only support her basically, number one, because I know she has a heart and the integrity to do what's right. And she has a knowledge base and the skills really to do what's best. So please consider that. I don't know who, I think there's someone else who's gonna probably be pretty good for what they come in for, but they're not gonna have the edge. They're gonna have to learn.
Thanks,
they're gonna have
Maggie,
to
that
work.
was 3 minutes.
Okay, that's 3 minutes. That's
Thank
my
you,
time.
Maggie.
Okay, thank you.
Anyone else who didn't sign in who wants to address the board? Come on up.
Michael Saylor, Village of Green Falls, different topic. The joint referendum discussing consolidation, generally fine. I just want to urge you all to have a discussion over the fact that there are dates in there for specific items. I think the timeline is premature. We may be successful in accomplishing what we want to accomplish in time to have a final draft by August and put this on the ballot in November. But having done a lot of service in the community and thinking specifically about the open space bond that we passed back in the early 2000s, we spent several years working on that committee in order to build community consensus, to educate people about what was going on. We had many workshops. And I feel that if people don't understand this process well, and you don't take the time to really teach them about it, when they get to the ballot box, they're much more likely to vote no than they are to vote yes, because they won't understand it as well. So I would just ask that unless the dates are there for a specific legal reason, that you really consider seriously, just taking them out, or at least understanding that they're just guidelines, not fixed and stuff.
Thank you. That's our first item on the agenda, and I actually have some notes that might address your concerns. So yeah, okay, thank you.
Sure, thank you. Thanks.
All right, anyone, okay.
The fastest. Buenas noches. What's wrong?
Buenas noches.
Maggie Levis stole my thunder, so I'm gonna be brief. I've lived for more than a half a century here in New Paltz, and I've also been a town board member. I urge the New Paltz Village Board not to repeat the mistake of the New Paltz Town Board that I served on, of appointing a town supervisor with no government experience. My theme to you is, you need someone with experience. Not at this time, someone with experience. This became a problem for the functioning of the local town government that I was part of. Based on my recent experience with town government, it would be best to allow the experienced acting mayor, Alex, to continue for 10 months, then to bring in someone who may not have the same job experience that she has. So please select Alice Wojcik as your next mayor till the end of December, and let the November election decide the next long-term mayor. Thank you. Good night.
Thanks, Edgar. Okay, last call for in-person peeps. Tim.
Another new topic.
Yay.
So, the joint board, at the last meeting spoke about sending a complaint to the state budget office regarding the Ulster County IDA. And one of the things that we discussed as a joint board was encouraging the community to apply to be appointed to the IDA. You know, I attended every single meeting this past fall, made public comments. I felt very much ignored as the representative of a taxing authority in a community where a pilot was being considered. And this has been the problem for the last decade. And from what I understand, a county legislator was trying to not simply reappoint the current members, and it seems like that's gonna happen. There's a resolution for February 17th, and the county legislator is just gonna go ahead and reappoint the same people who just stared at us and kind of taunted us for making public comment and expressing concerns about how pilots negatively impact our community. And just want to share with you that, you know, I'm really discouraged. I don't know what any of us can do. I feel like pretty invisible, but thanks.
Thank you for sharing that, because I mentioned that in my announcements, and I am gonna be trying to go to that meeting. Okay, last call. No more comments? Okay, cool. Thanks everyone for participating. So, I move to approve our consent agenda.
We did that.
Oh, we did. Oh, yeah, because there was nothing to change. Sorry, I put it on my notes, right? So let's move on to our first business item, which is the resolution that Michael Zeller had mentioned in his comment, about the board initiated, resolution to compose consolidation agreement for townwide voters to consider. So, I move to approve this resolution. And once I get a second, I'll make sure we have a good discussion. Okay, so I move to approve resolution to compose a consolidation agreement for townwide voters to consider. Did you, oh, sorry.
Second.
Okay, all in favor? Oh, no, not yet. Sorry, discussion. So I did want to make sure there was, I just want to keep making sure we're very clear, this is, because I heard like people in the public basically saying it's a done deal. And I'm like, no, the whole point of this is that it's not a done deal. We are doing our job to give the public like the best decision-making information out there so voters can decide. So this is just process stuff, right? So that we can keep going. The real fun, starts with the agreement and plan in anticipation of the referendum vote. So I did want to point out the August deadline is it's imposed if we do want to vote on this in November. That it will drop that deadline by the New York State Board of Elections. I do want to say one reason I like this timeline, even if it feels like a rush to some community members, is because having worked on every campaign cycle for the past maybe 20 years here, village voters in particular turn out during midterm election years. And I really was thinking about we started this topic a billion times over. We start this particular process now 2 years ago. We have some good information and we're at a good place to really, get together the plan, I think, that will let people decide. And having the election where the most amount of village people participate means a lot to me personally. So that's why I'm a proponent of that timeline. So I predicted someone was going to come out and talk about that. Anyone else have anything to say or feel good about it? Or, and if not, I can just move the.
I tend to want to keep things moving.
Yeah.
So that's would be my general inclination.
Yeah, I agree with that. As long as we are able to get the plan and push it out to the public. For them to understand what's really going on in November. It's the most important piece of all of this.
I think to the point of the person who spoke, we should really make extra effort to try to get the information out.
Yeah, agreed.
Totally. And that's why we're lucky to have the Veteran Center, that wonderful proposal, to assist in that outreach.
Right. That was really helpful. Yeah.
So I was a couple things I was gonna say about it. First of all, I'm behind the spirit of the resolution for certain and actually excited about the work to be done to understand it better and plan the potential for consolidation. I also recognize that this is a resolution that's been passed by the town, so wordsmithing isn't a good use of time or energy. I did want to share just a comment about the first point of the resolution that says to update the New Paltz Government Reorganization Study from May 2025. I think we could have chosen a better word than update. It feels more just like a review as opposed to building a study that's based on a different premise than that study was based on, and that there may be things that require more than an update. And so I just wanted to point out that I might have said something like create a revision of that study as opposed to just an update, because it feels a little bit understated. I had the same thought about timeline. Thank you, Alex, for sharing that rationale. I assumed there was a requirement or a need to get us to that place by August in order to be a part of the November election. And so I believe, where there's focus and capacity, things like this could get done in this amount of time. And I also have the same thought that our guest shared, which was that I think the potential for this to be understood and therefore likely passed by our voters is all going to be about education and engagement and input And I'm just wanting to make sure that we're all committed to what would be a pretty good sprint, you know, it would be a 7-month process. And not a lot of things that are this substantial get done in 7 months, as a person who's, you know, responsible for strategic planning initiatives and consolidation projects and things like this. So, I understand why the dates are there. I'm committed to the work that would go into, making it possible. And I just want to also share that my eyes are sort of wide open on that it's a pretty aggressive timeline.
Cool.
And I think related to that thought is that I did notice that there is no mention of community engagement, that the commitment in the resolution says that we will hold required public hearings on the proposed joint consolidation agreement. And I think the resolution could have done a lot better to commit us to the public engagement and public education responsibilities that are not only going to make consolidation plan better, but make it more likely to pass. And, you know, we voted on a resolution to engage the Benjamin Center about this very issue, so I thought it might have been, it could have been effective to have it in the resolution as well. And one more thing is that,
Well, just a
Yeah.
point on that one, we were going to vote on it. Actually, I would have to double check, because I think that was the one that we didn't actually get to see until the night of the meeting.
okay,
I will make sure to circle back, but I thought we were either approved it pending everyone being full fit, or we would look at it and vote at the next one, so
so
yeah,
whether we voted on that engagement specifically,
yeah.
I think what we all are committed to is engagement, education of the public, and it's not mentioned other than the required public hearing process. So just wanted to say that on record that I believe that that's an understated important part. And then very lastly, just in terms of the laundry list of things, it says that we're going to figure out. I didn't see a mention where it says the government organization of the proposed consolidated entity insofar as it concerns elected officials, public employees, along with transitional plan, inclusive of a reasonable timeline, et cetera. I didn't see any specific mention of the volunteer boards and the importance of consolidation of those, and how that's actually a pretty, you know, tricky thing to figure out. And so I thought it might have deserved specific mention. So all that said, I am in favor of the spirit of the resolution. Think there's probably some omissions that at least would be helpful to have on record.
Oh my gosh, thank you so much, everyone, for all this good feedback. I think it's good getting it out there, so then we can keep looking back at our meetings to hold ourselves like accountable. That being said, all in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Thanks, guys. Okay, so this next item is the mayoral appointment discussion update. So I basically exited this conversation when setting you guys up with the attorney for a talk, so I'm gonna push myself back here and take it away.
I'm gonna have more updates.
Yeah, I don't.
I said what I needed to say last time, yeah.
The only practical thing is that I think when we considered I have to go back and look at it, but when we considered the schedule of when we would conduct the interviews, I think we considered them, now they're landing on a date of a joint meeting.
Right.
Is everybody okay with that?
Yeah, I'm okay with that.
I'm okay with that, sir.
Okay, and then therefore, Ariana's online, right?
Yes.
So just getting people scheduled.
I am, and I have a suggestion if you guys want it.
We want it.
Yeah.
So I think that maybe for the joint meeting, for the interviews rather, you meet at 6, do half hour, board meeting starts at 7, so it doesn't go late. It starts a little early, it's still public. But yeah, up to you guys, but that's what I was thinking. If you want to do it on the 18th.
And as long as we give notice of that 6 o'clock start time, it's fine, right?
Yeah,
Of course, we would, yeah.
yeah. No, I agree with that because I felt like the 45 minutes was a little too long anyway. So, and I think that would be good to start at 6.
That's the 18th.
Yes.
Okay.
Thanks for that suggestion, Ariana.
Yeah, thank you.
So, So yeah, I think the important part is just to get notice to our two candidates, the one sitting with us and John Litton.
Can I?
Perfect.
jump
I can
in?
reach out to John.
Yes.
Thank you.
Just, could you, I guess we don't have to, but just to make it easier, I think, for us to follow along, if one of you motion to have the meeting, like, the
Sure.
public meeting, like,
Mo-
at 6 p.m. that night.
Yeah.
And then, yeah, thank you.
Motion to schedule the February 18th meeting to begin at 6 p.m. to allow for a 1 hour process of interviews of the two candidates.
Second.
Favor?
Bye.
Aye.
Abstain.
Mhm.
Okay, let me know when I can come back.
We're good.
Sweet, okay, awesome job. All right, our next item is one of these like perfunctory things that I will do my best to kind of explain, but I move the resolution appointing Mark Flower of Flower Associates of the Labor Standards as the Labor Standards Officer for the Village of New Paltz for the project as listed. This is the CDBG, project that basically is listed. Do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I move the resolution appointing Mark Flower of Flower Associates as a Section 3 Compliance Officer for the Village of New Paltz for the CDBG project as listed.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. This next one was added. So I move to approve the Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement's use of services of Alex Salantri on a short-term basis as a building inspector for the Village of New Paltz at the rate of $50 an hour.
Second.
Discussion.
Please.
Yeah, I just really want to note, now that I'm having a lot of fun delving into the budget with our amazing treasurer clerk. This fiscal cycle, the building department revenues are way down from what we had budgeted. And so just the sheer fact of having the assistance of one of our wonderful, knowledgeable humans that's been a part of the team until last week, who's a knowledgeable building inspector, having him on hand as needed will really help us to hopefully, really enforce our codes enough to get that revenue back up and, to keep our community safe and healthy. And so this is, I think, a really fair thing, and it also supports Mike Baden's, workload too, because he's juggling a lot. So to lose a staff person in code enforcement is like never an ideal situation. So this is a really good stopgap. So I hope we'll approve it. So anything else on discussion?
Yeah, I have just
Yeah.
a quick question. Is there there's a vacancy of the full-time role still?
Yeah, we haven't hired anybody.
Right.
Yeah.
And the intention is to fill it full-time and not use this contractor after that time?
Yeah, so that's why this is just a temporary thing. Of course, there's all these, questions in the equation of like, what does shared services start to look like more and more, and the timing of all of this, but for now, just to make sure we don't lose our momentum, especially now that I have the village full-time right now. That means the rental registry is getting a little makeover and whatnot. So even more things to inspect and enforce, right? So we don't want to lose that momentum. We want to keep everyone safe and healthy. So this is a good in-between. All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you to Alex for being willing to do that. So I move to approve the Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement's request to provide access to municity to the assessor and the assessor aide. This comes at no additional cost.
Second.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And I move the our fire chief's request to purchase a new fire command vehicle at a cost of $57,910, as noted in the memo.
Second.
Any discussion? Because I know this was a new one at the table.
Yeah, I think, not a discussion, but I was kidding with someone before the meeting that there's no training to be a good trustee. And so when I see things like this, I just want to acknowledge the fact that there's not a lot of background to understand whether this is the right thing, but I rely on my more experienced trustees as well as the professionals making the recommendation.
Yeah,
And I'll learn over time as to whether this is a good decision or not.
I feel like I'm learning so much every day now too, because this is like my whole life right now. And so our fire chief was awesome enough to kind of just like explain like this to the point where now I feel like I have ridden in the vehicle. And I feel like, our team has done a good job of kind of figuring out how to not get the most expensive thing out there. I guess our chief was a bit sad that they no longer make these in red. And so he reassured me that even though it's going to be a white vehicle, the labeling is gonna make it very clear that this is fire and not, some other entity, right? So I thought that was pretty cool and kind of, every time like our team is able to take like radio equipment, from one thing to another, like they're saving, like we have a good penny pinching squad here, and yeah,
Thanks for explaining.
totally. All in favor?
Aye.
Okay, I move to authorize the employment of Mark Dodonna, Alex Andorian, and Quinlan King for temporary snow shoveling of sidewalks and hydrants as per chapter 175, streets and public places, article 3, snow and ice removal on an as-needed basis, effective immediately. Hours worked will be as budgeted under the direction of Mike, the Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement. The rate of pay will be $16 an hour.
Second.
Any discussion? All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Woohoo. See, we're taking care of snow, guys. So I move to approve the fee for snow shoveling of sidewalks and hydrants for 2026, as noted in the memo provided by the Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement.
Second.
Any discussion?
But one, just the same kind of understanding question. This is fees that would be paid to private contractors that would do this work for us?
So, this is, wait, what do you mean?
So it's a fee schedule for shoveling of sidewalks.
This is what we will be, citing, is that the
Oh,
right word?
it's the
Yeah.
citation, it's penalties.
We in our last motion just hired a bunch of a snow shovel squad, right?
Yeah.
And so this is the standard, as set now, because the way our code is written is that we may choose to hire people and then set the schedule according to whatever the times may
Oh,
call for.
Okay, so it is to pay people to do this shoveling.
Yeah,
So then my second question, and sorry if this is so petty, but why did the 3 young people that we just approved get paid less than this?
well, so there's costs that come, it's not the same thing, it's like when you go to, grandma's house and say, hey, can I like shovel your driveway, and she can hand you a $50 bill. We have a whole municipality.
Right.
And so there's code enforcement officials involved in that, we're not just saying, go out fellas and shovel what you
Right.
see, there's now like this whole identification of a property owner, like, yes, that is in fact private property that, someone's like what I'm doing. Our code enforcement team goes there, and just because this is a small village, they do their due diligence to call, email, knock on the door before taking action. But as I'm sure you've seen if you're on social media, or if anyone wants to join me upstairs, anytime the phone rings off the hook, people are like, da 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 da. So they'll help us, I guess, identify the areas, but there's that whole building department code enforcement officer aspect to it, before you even and like send out the shovelers.
There's a copy of this in one of our emails that outlines the administrative fee and like how much per block it is or whatever per square foot it is to shovel, so it shows the fees outlined in there.
Yeah, that's a really good question. Yeah, and I apologize because it also makes a lot more sense if you read it in conjunction with our code, which I tend to do like a nerd because I have it on my phone. So next time I will do a little bit more due diligence and make sure to share that with you guys.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Thanks for the explanation.
totally. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Awesome. All right, we're channeling the snow. So we're right there. I move to approve the Director of Planning, Zoning, and Code Enforcement's request to retain Peak Engineering as Planning Board Engineering Consultant.
Second.
Any discussion? I just wanted to add, because in case public wants to know, a little bit more about what was in some background information I was able to get. Basically, our contracted consultant Colliers has a conflict on this particular application. They're retained by the applicant for traffic consulting. And so, our amazing team, feels very confident, has worked with this, at Peak Engineering on several occasions. They're thorough, their rate of pay matches everything, and all costs will be paid by the applicant through the escrow TA account. All right, so all in favor? Aye. All right, I move to approve the Flower Associates contract regarding the noted CDBG administration submission package not to exceed $70,000 as previously noted. Second. All in favor, or if anyone has discussion, just make sure you shout it out too, if I go too fast, please. All in favor? Aye. I move to approve the resolution regarding bills and claims.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Do we have a planning board report?
Excuse me, there hasn't been any meetings since the last
Oh,
time
we
I
just saw each
shared.
other.
The best news is that, the most current news is that I also shared last week, which is that they're having a joint meeting between the HPC and the village planning board to discuss the historic Huguenot project. And thought that was just a good innovation in government. And I've seen, passing by of the joint agenda. And so I think that's a thoughtful way to approach that project, and just give them a shout out for that.
Yeah, that's really cool. Thanks for reminding everyone of that. Awesome. And then, do we have any ZBA? Again, we all just saw it for last week. Yeah. Cool. Anything else? All right, I move to adjourn this meeting. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. All right,
Thank you.
let me turn all this stuff off. Good night, Ariana.
I'm sorry, my legs under me too.
Yeah,